Hello, friends. Steve here. And I was thinking that I just wasn't going to do a video today. I think, mentioned that to my wife. Because I just want to take a break from as much as I could take a break from. It's not like I have a busy life in a conventional sort of way. Cats racing around. It's, yeah. She thinks there's a cat race going on and she's the only contestant. So for whatever reason, I know she's trying to maybe draw my attention, which she has done, obviously. But I'm ignoring her. It's my friend. We never talk about my videos. From time to time, she'll mention something. So I think from time to time she watches them. But but we don't talk about them too much. But she gave me the term bandwidth. So I know it's not her term, but she gave me the use of the term bandwidth in this way. Like I'm lacking bandwidth. In other words, I can handle so much information, and more than that, it's just too much. And so we have used this with each other over the past month or two. when when she mentioned it to me, like I'm lacking in bandwidth. It's just become a very fond term for me to use that really expresses like how much I can handle at any one time. And I don't do much in terms of besides me talking to myself and then posting it on the internet. I don't do too much on the internet. Um, just I don't. I have been trained to have my awareness on the energy of the world. And the reason that I was trained to do who knows why they trained me to do all the things that they've trained me to do, which has been a lot. And it's more than likely because when most of my travels back to other lifetimes that I think I'm currently living in. I think the idea of past life, I think time is actually more radial. It's not linear. It's not moving in the direction as we perceive it to be moving as beings in human form. I don't have it, I don't understand it completely, but I have this sense that when I started returning to previous lives, what felt to me to be me living in another lifetime, I had some flashes and stuff, in my earlier years, my late teenage years, and throughout my 20s and 30s and on. But I think it was in the late 70s, like probably 78, 79, that I had a very specific life that I went back to, where I had been a woman in that lifetime. I had had a child, and I had lost that child at about the age of 2. And I couldn't deal with it. And so time is interesting to me. So when I went back, when you go back to these life events, it's like you go back to some place in the time of that event that you're drawn to. And it may be that all these events are actually just videos running in your own neural system. I just don't know. I just was I just was able to do these things. But in this lifetime, so it was about 1978, 79. In this life, in that lifetime I went to, I had never let go of the pain of the loss of that child at the age of 2. So when I went back to it, I assisted myself in that lifetime to let go of that pain. And how it affected me in this lifetime was I had had problems with constipation um, my whole kind of life. Not severe, but my whole life it had been an issue where my intestines were kind of contracted. And when the energy of that child was released and allowed back into the flow of things, my own abdomen just completely relaxed in my body. I'm probably in the body of the person I was back to as, but in my body, that energy all released, and I just became very functional in terms of digestion. Uh, yeah. So there's just an example of a few different constructs. Do we go back to events when we're clearing events that are in our Akashic records based on memory that might have come in through the genetic structure of the 2 parents, and then that genetic memory of the 2 parents and their unresolved stuff and their parents' unresolved stuff and their parents' unresolved stuff all ends up somehow in us, plus all their resources and all the things they've learned to do, and a lot of a lot of good things. But the stuck stuff is the stuff that we tend to want to release and integrate in this passage through time. I have found a really excellent kind of coffee substitute that has no caffeine. It's not related to coffee bean at all. And I'm only doing this because of my tendency to like to run on that higher frequency, and yet not actually quite having, having gone through quite a period of detox, not quite having that energy that I like more to run on. And so I was using caffeine, to just get more done. And so I stopped about 10 days ago and started drinking this stuff called Ticino and French, I think it's called French press. But it's all like herbs and mushrooms and things like that. But they've done just such an amazing job of making it taste like coffee. So now when I'm drinking it, it just tastes like the coffee that I would make. And my body reacts to it like it has had coffee, even though there's no caffeination in this. It's kind of some sort of herbal tea thing that just tastes a lot like coffee. So let's do this today. Let's set up a healing field. This is actually day 2. And I think in the Mayan calendar, yesterday, this is, yes, the, the, the 28-year cleansing ended on the 24th, and the new cycle started on the 21st, but the first full day of the new cycle was the 25th. And that was the day of the red dragon. And today, I think, is the 26th, is a white wind. And I might do a Mayan calendar reading. I don't know. But what I want to do is set up the field first. So if you want to connect to the healing field, just state, I connect to my deep self, connect to my higher self, I connect to my highest self, I ground myself to the healing center of the earth, I open myself to the healing power of the One. That you can also think of as Hunab Ku. In the Mayan calendar, it's our central sun and the center of our oneness. So it's the oneness of our consciousness emanates from the Hunab Ku, or the central sun. So I open myself to the healing power of the One. I'm also opening myself to the healing power of the Hunab Ku. And just if you say that word, Hunab Ku, you might feel that emanation from the central sun, the one consciousness. And just notice how consciousness comes out of that, and when you are open to it, kind of flows through you. I choose to let go of anything no longer useful to me now. If you choose to work with the Hathors, you can state, I choose to work with the Hathors. And they're the seventh dimensional beings who have been assisting me for the past 14 plus years. Probably longer. I just can't remember when they came in exactly, but they're really wonderful. And they help you to release and integrate energetics. They work with frequencies, they work with sound, and they're very helpful if you have an energy that's really kind of stirring. If you're working with them, they're really good at helping you just let that energy out and just incorporate into your field. Which they just did. So you saw an actual demonstration. They just helped me do that. Because I had just stated I choose to work with the Hathors. But I always choose to work with the Hathors, but they're not high at all on any kind of interference. They're just about support. So if you choose to work with them, you'll feel nothing but support from them. And if you're open to communication, they'll communicate with you. They communicated with me for a long time, like frequently. Not so much currently. And I just take that as I don't need it, but it might not be accurate. Maybe I'm just not listening, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good, released and integrated at this time. And I invite all souls affected by this event to return to the event to release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And I ask that all souls be placed in a field of protection while they do this work. Upon our arrival at the event, I asked the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. Okay, the healing field is set. We can just release and integrate the energies of the event for ourselves. And we're doing it as a collective, so it does make it easier to do this with all these other souls. It makes it easier. We're all doing it at once. I've learned. I just want to express my gratitude for all of you who are out there watching these videos, whether, there's 16 of you or 600 of you or however these things go out and then are observed for however long and then sometimes responded to, and sometimes there's just people that find them really useful and they interact with me, and that's really lovely. I just express my appreciation for you participating in this, because the more people that participate in this, the easier the whole thing is. And since I was asked to set up the World Healing Field, which just seemed like a ginormous request from the other realm, like, we'd like you to set up a healing field for the world. And I'm like, give me a break. Like, it's me. It's this guy that's just kind of, you have to really kind of push a little bit to get to do anything. But this seems really big, and I feel really small. And they taught me how to feel really big, and the things they asked me to do to feel really small. And that made a difference, but that only happened recently. But for the past 5 years, it's just been like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is some intense stuff you're asking me to ground. And the last 2 years, it's been amped up. The disturbed energy on the planet has been amped up. Now, I don't know. I just can't say for sure, but exactly what's going on. But I can say this, and for me, probably since Friday, and this is Wednesday, so maybe for the past 5 days, things have gotten much calmer and much easier, much less intense at night in the dream world, much less panicky energy, much better sleeping. Like, it just has been kind of ramping up. And now it feels like it's calming down somewhat. That's just my experience, and we all have a different experience of the world. Sometimes we have a similar experience and we go, oh yeah. So I'll say something, a person say, oh yeah, that's been feeling that way for me as well. And sometimes we're feeling things similarly, and sometimes we're feeling things really differently. And a lot of it's based on our state. I noticed I went like this, but so I'm going to do a reading from the tarot book Finding the Fool by Meg Jones Wall. And today I pulled a card for the world, and I got the Sun card. So the Sun, Hunab Ku. So you got the central sun, and then you got our sun, but they're just in complete relationship with each other. But the sun is related to illumination, clarity, life force, vitality, and purpose. It's the Major Arcana 19, so it adds 9 and 1 adds up to 1, adds up to 10, and then 10 becomes 1. That's the way it works in the kind of numerology thing. So 1 is about motivation, it's about confidence, it's about independence, vision, and trailblazing. The key words are multiplying sparks, abundance, clarity, celebration, community, achievement, joy, play, triumph, awareness and openness, self-pride, acceptance, dignity, inspiration, full disclosure, laughter, self-expression, and unification. And here are the words that go along with the Sun card. As the darkness of night gives way to gentle dawn, our world begins to reveal itself clearly. Lingering shadows slowly disappear. We're able to see ourselves, our path forward, and everything around us with sharpness, vitality, and clarity. And after all that we've endured, all that we've achieved, all that we've discovered, a feeling of pure joy fills us. We dance in the sunshine, laugh and shout and sing, grab those we love, and celebrate the moment in a rich expression of community, opulence, and pleasure. Fear of the unknown no longer dominates us, and instead we understand that we are beings of light and shadow, hope and hesitation, awe and inspiration. We are not one simple thing on one singular path with one specific purpose. Instead, we contain multitudes, scramble through multiple cycles simultaneously, grow and release and evolve in overlapping brilliant rhythms. The blood pulsing through our veins, the breath flowing through our lungs, the new ideas that burst into our minds and hearts are all essential pieces of who we are. And in honoring every step of this journey, in recognizing our triumphs and mistakes, in finding joy even in the midst of impossible moments, we experience the delight and satisfaction of rich internal abundance. There's a spirit of revelry in this card, a playful childlike joy that bubbles up and inspires us to dance, sing, and relax. So much of the Fool's journey can feel solitary, but the Sun urges us to connect with our communities, to share our triumphs, to be generous and indulgent with all that we have. We've worked hard, overcome much, allowed ourselves to be changed by the odyssey that we've been on. Rather than dwelling on past hurts or worrying about the next fork in the road, we turn our faces to the light and allow ourselves to be deeply, fully, authentically present. We take delight and pleasure in where we are, feel a sense of personal alchemy, and soak up the warmth. However, after the gentle luminescence of the star and the moon, the Sun can be brighter than we're ready for. Left unchecked, that steady, intense blaze can burn delicate skin or blind, sensitive eyes. The Sun's indiscriminate glare exposes truths that we had not yet acknowledged. even dragging deeply buried secrets out in a way that is uncomfortable or unsettling. But the gift of this card is in calling us to slowly open ourselves to the brilliance around us, to appreciate this benevolent energy, to find triumph in the process of illumination, and in owning our scars and acknowledging where we're not perfect, we can access power, magic, even pleasure. We are survivors, victors, fighters. We have endured, and we have achieved. We are brave, perhaps wielding more strength than we ever realized. And in this moment, we celebrate. I found that useful and somewhat exhilarating. Okay, we're just going to close up this healing field. I ask the higher self. I'm not going to ask the higher self, but I do ask the higher self to assist all the souls that return to this event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and bring that combined soul back into their body in present time with all of its wisdom, power, and clarity, its compassion, its curiosity, and its kindness. And I ask that all those souls ground themselves in the healing center of the earth with peace and joy, and open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies coming to us from the Hunav Ku. And we ask that those energies be brought in now. And even for this moment, allow yourself, if it's right for you, to feel the exhilaration of these new energies coming into the planet now. And I ask that these be activated. And I let the universe and beyond know that this has been done and that it's good. And we are here for one another in whatever ways, without diminishing our own energetics, but letting the energetics of life flow through us. And in what ways we can be here for others, then we just are. And when we don't feel it's right, we just don't do that. We let life propel us forward, let life guide us in this journey. If we have guides, let our guides guide us in this journey, and let ourselves just keep opening up the heart, the mind, the solar plexus, and our grounding chakras, and really let the earth energy in, let the sun energy in, let the divine energies just pass through us and cleanse anything that needs cleansing at this time. And thank you for participating, and it was an enjoyable little monologue I did at the beginning, at least for me, and hopefully for some of you. And it's 29 minutes long. And Topher Mobile, I don't know if that's how it's said, Topher Mobile, but he's the first person ever asked for my videos to be longer. Some people have asked that they be louder, or some people have asked that they've been shorter. But I just appreciate you for asking that the videos be longer. Made me laugh. And thanks for all of your comments. They're just really appreciated and enjoyed and read, and sometimes frequently responded to. Now can change. and now must go, and a women. Power to the new world.